Hi everybody and welcome to another episode of the Smashing Spell Sessions. This week I'm joined by Belgium's Turpentine Valley. I'm a big fan of these guys as well. I'm a big fan of Belgian music, it seems. But these guys play a real heavy style of post-metal that's sort of laced with layers of doom and sludge and hugely atmospheric stuff. So everyone, can I welcome Roel, Kristoff and Thomas to the show. Lads, you're very welcome.
Hi.
Great to see you finally. I know we've been trying to plan this for a few weeks, Roel. We've been up and down and messages and emails and the whole lot.
Took a lot of planning, but we're happy to see you.
Here we go. We got it done. So lads, how are things with you all anyway? How's rehearsals going? As we can see, that's where you are.
Yeah, we're at our rehearsal room now, practicing for our next gig, which is the Dunk Festival.
The big one.
Yeah, indeed. It's a big one.
Is this as big a show as you will have had in your time?
This is the first time we play a big festival. We were supposed to play it already 2 years ago, and then Corona hit, of course.
Uh-huh.
Then I don't know if you ever saw that video as a joke. We listened to the online Dunk Festival, and we recorded a 30-second video where we played kids' guitars and kids' drums.
I didn't see that. No, I didn't.
At our own forest stage. We had our own forest stage here at home.
I'd have to check that. Is it still out there? Is it? Can it be found? Can that video be found?
Yeah. That was great, but we are really looking forward to the real stuff, of course, within a few days.
Would you have the balls to bring those guitars and those drums onto the stage at Dunk?
We don't have those.
So tell me, lads, look, it's been a mad couple of years, anyway. Obviously, between, as you said, COVID hitting, in between your two albums, you know, you had ETCH that was released just before COVID hit, and now you've come on the other side with ALDER. So tell me, the album ALDER, how's it been received? Obviously, well received, I'd assume. Yeah,
we had some really great feedback on the album so far, and that was something that we really appreciated because we didn't have a real clue what to think people should expect or people should think about it, because we wrote it kind of a totally different way, the way we were used to.
Okay.
Before ALDER, we used to jam together, and songs came out of that jam sessions mostly.
Okay.
But this time, there was like COVID, we couldn't rehearse together, so we wrote our own parts online or send them through, build up each other as we emailed back and forth. That was a really different way of working for us, which was really exciting to see what the result could give. We didn't play the songs together for a long time. We only played them while at the moment we started pre-production. Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
But we hadn't played them before, so that was really a strange thing for us.
Joe, I'm just thinking as you were speaking there, it must be a bit of a buzz too, I suppose, when you're not playing together and you're not rehearsing together, that a guy has an idea and he puts it to the rest of the other two and online, and you're saying, fuck it, that sounds class. You know, it's something that doesn't happen like you'd normally expect to happen at a jamming session, you know?
It's totally different writing a song at a computer than doing it live. You get other ideas and you try stranger things just because you can. And then when you try to play it live, it's like, that doesn't work that good. Or it worked good, or I can't play that, you stupid.
I used to tell that all the time.
Then you put drums on a guitar line and you create it, and then, Roel, can you play that? No.
Let's move on, exactly. No, next track.
But that makes you feel a bit, I won't say anxious, but a bit eager to know what the result will be.
Exactly.
Because you don't have this live feeling, you don't have this volume coming up.
Yeah. And are the three of you living very far away from each other?
No, not at all.
They live one street apart.
Okay.
I live 20 kilometers farther, so that's not.
Okay, so COVID, like you're taking the piss a bit there. It wasn't really a big deal.
Belgium isn't there. So
You could have actually met and played on the street together in between houses.
We could play outside, but it was a bit loud, so we decided not to do so. But in fact, as soon as we could, there were restrictions till the moment that everyone could have one extra contact apart from the family. So we decided we were each other's extra contact.
You were never so close.
Yeah.
So lads, can I get, before we even go into the albums or before we even talk about ALDER and even ETCH, the band name itself, tell me where it came from and whose idea was it, or what?
Just some random words. Since we're all three big fans of Russian circles, we couldn't use American triangles, so that was going to be stupid. No, just put some words together, and like you have that's a whole different genre. Of course, you have park something that sounds good, something like that, maybe 2 words, and
yeah, we actually thought about names that weren't used before. What we never did with previous bands.
Okay.
When it sounded good, but there were like 20 other bands who called the same way. So now we really made sure we had something unique.
And it is unique, you know. As I spoke about this to somebody else recently, like, and you wonder why some bands pick a name, because you go onto Bandcamp, as I said, and you put in the band name, and there's fucking 20 come down on a list, and you're wondering, Jesus, which is the band I listen to?
Yeah,
But Turpentine Valley, even people I meet who wouldn't be into the music scene, even not even to mind the post scene, and they're saying Turpentine Valley, fuck it, great name, and it's something really stands out, you know. So look, we go back to ETCH, lads, the first album. Is that the first thing you've released together as a group, or had you any demos or anything put before that? As
a group, that's the first. We first released it as a demo tape, with one song less than on the album.
Yeah.
And we just at first we sold them, but at a certain moment we were like, no, we're just gonna go to important shows and hand out those tapes to people who listen to that kind of music.
I get you.
We were at the Dunk show.
Yeah, with Celestial Wolves and Hester.
Yeah. And we were at the entrance handing out tapes, and like a few months ago, there was still one person at the show who told, "Hey, you were the guys handing out tapes at shows." Okay, it worked.
That's the hard work, and that's the hard graft, isn't it? That's what you have to do, like.
Yeah, but we were totally new in this genre, because we played together for like half a lifetime, but in punk rock bands, hardcore bands since our youth. So this was something completely new for us. We didn't know there was such community around it, such a fan base. So it was all new for us, but it was very exciting to get to learn all of this.
And you know, you're echoing a lot of the stuff that Tim from Amsterdam was telling me 2 weeks ago. Like, you know, you all started from this punk hardcore scene.
That was funny, because I listened to the show with Tim, and I had something like, "Hey, that's the same story like ours."
That's my story for 2 weeks.
That's my story. He was first. I guess Tim is a little longer than us already in this, or was already in this hardcore and punk rock scene. But as we played first time with Amsterdam, for example, we met Bert, guitar player, and we are like, "Hey, we know each other." Okay, yeah, we met 20 years ago at a punk rock show of your band, and we were playing as well. So it's like, but that's great.
It's a small world, like, isn't it? I mean, you know, how you both end up on the Dunk roster, like, you know, both bands.
All evolve. They don't get stuck in that same genre, but they move on to other things while still liking songs and the genre that we were used to be. We used to be in, or used to listen to.
So, briefly speak, what bands were you in before, lads? What type of groups or type of styles of music?
Not
too many to mention.
Yeah, quite a few punk rock, street punk bands, old school hardcore bands,
metalcore bands, youth crew style bands.
Okay,
all of them.
They played together since they were 16. I was in another type of band. There's also a funny story that I like to mention. Yeah. They were in a punk rock band where they drank a lot, and I was in a metalcore band where I'm still straight edge, so no drugs, no drinking, no smoking, and it was opposing bands. So when we play together on shows, like that, doing stupid again, records. Yeah. And then on a certain moment, I think 2003, another band was formed, and then we got connected and got together. It was something like in the style of Rise Against, stuff like that. And then that faded out. And then at a certain point, Kristoff and Roel decided to start another band together. And they contacted me again. And it was, do you want to do an instrumental band?
Okay.
The what? We're drinking beers. No. Iced tea. Iced tea.
Iced tea, is it? It's the colour of beer, so look, I wouldn't have known any different. That's interesting. So, lads, I mean, like the Turpentine Valley as a band, so coming together, it was a decision. Was it? It was a conscious decision to make an instrumental band. Yeah. Cool, yeah. That was the plan.
Definitely, yeah. Because we wanted to do something completely different. First of all, we're, like Thomas said, we're huge fans of Russian Circles. It was a band that we were at that time starting to discover a bit, and
I didn't hear it until they handed me over that Memorial album.
Okay. And then it was something that struck me so, I mean, personally, but I think the other guys as well, that struck me so hard that that was like something I never had heard before. And I wanted to at least try myself to make something that comes a bit close to it.
Yeah.
And it was for me a very challenge to do something instrumental, because have something that keeps it interesting.
Okay.
But for me, it was a great challenge to try and make something interesting enough for, let's say, 7 minutes without someone taking all the attention to a text, to a singing line, to a performance on stage. Just wanted bass, drums, guitars, and let's see how far we get with this. But we never thought it would come this far.
There you go, lads. It worked. Like, I mean, the album ETCH in itself, like, were the tracks in your head already before you even got together? Had you the idea where that album was going? Or was it a case of get together and start from scratch?
Yeah, let's start from scratch. And I think the first 2 songs that we did, we threw away because we tried too hard to do things, or got too much influences from previous bands, and like, no. And
then we started to look for sounds.
Gradually evolved, and then the songs of ETCH.
Yeah, we worked for about, I think, 3 years on those first songs. That came out on the demo tape Thomas told about, and that was actually something we didn't have a clue what genre we were playing, who would ever be able to like this, in what style or subgenre of metal this would come. We even didn't got a clue we were playing metal.
Yeah, exactly. and you know, that's something that I find very hard to deal with, because so many bands come on and you're saying you don't want to categorize them or put them into any specific genre. But I suppose when I introduce a band, I have to give people some idea of where their music is going. Like, so, but like you said, ETCH, it covers everything. I mean, there's, as I said, there's sludgy parts, there's heavy doom, loaded with atmosphere, dense, quiet parts, you know, so you sort of ticked a lot of boxes. So who was going to your gigs initially from day one, you know, when ETCH came out and you were doing a few shows?
Well, first of all, there were a lot of people we knew and who were curious. They saw we stuck together again after a while, and they were curious in the music we played.
Okay.
But you saw very quickly that we were introducing in a sort of a scene, if you can call it still that way. That's a word for 20 years ago, but still I'd like to call it that way, because that's a real community, I guess. Like Dunk bands, Dunk family. That's really something that is very, very close to each other. People check out each other's bands. There's no like rivalry in between bands. There's a very, very humble feeling in between, and that was something that we we felt that was right for something we liked.
And then Hester, a band where we knew some people who played in there, and they were signed to Dunk Records. And then we were like, oh, we're going to check this out, this label. Well, they also have a festival. Oh, it's kind of the music that we play. Let's make some contact with them to see what they think. And then we started recording 3 new songs we had. Yeah. Every step of the way, Roel started bugging Wout. Hey, we did that. We finished. We finished. This finished. Maybe you're interested. We're gonna come over and have a chat with you. Maybe to press our own record. And then when we were there, Wout was like, I want to release the first demo tape with an extra song. Wow. So we were looking at each other. Really? Well, it was the first time we ever got signed, and someone released our music.
But what a signing, Thomas! Like, I mean, you know, to get Dunk to press your first album, like, I mean,
yes, that was great. We immediately went to the first bar. We passed over.
That was Drunk Records.
I knew that had to come in somewhere. Someone was going to say it.
but actually, that's a funny thing. It's only afterwards we heard for the first time someone call us a post-metal band. We did, like I said, we didn't have a clue what we just played what we liked and just played what we felt was right, and we played the music we had a nice feeling for, and then that was the label.
And what did you make of the fact that people were calling it post-metal? Did it bother you? Did it?
Not at all. I'm not a huge fan of those categorizing.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think there's a lot more in our music than just this post-metal. Like you said, there's sludge influences, doom influences, post-rock influences, hardcore influences, I guess.
There is. I mean, that's what's happening with a lot of bands, isn't it? Everyone does. You can't categorize anyone anymore. Like,
but I understand people do this. When I was 16, I was buying my first CDs. I also checked out the genres and checked only this kind
exactly. of. We've all done it. Yeah, we've all done it. I mean, even go back there, Roel, to your time of that you were mad about Russian Circles, for instance. I mean, what would you have classed them as back then when you were listening to them?
For me, the name came up from a singer I was playing with in another band, and I didn't associate this person with metal or post-metal. This was a rock and roll guy. I know he was into Amen Ra, and he was into very hard rocking bands, but he kept on talking about it. I just had to check it out, and still then I didn't have a clue of which genre this or which genre bands this could be.
And then he started growing his hair, wearing mostly black, so he became a total metal guy.
I was a punk rock kid till then. But that was a great experience to get to know, even when you're 40 years old, to get to know a total new world of music.
Yeah.
Which you weren't aware of. That's fantastic.
It's something fresh and different, isn't it? Because I think, again, speaking to lads over the last few weeks, there is a stage for everybody where you get a little bit sick of a scene and you get a bit sick of a certain style of music. You need a break from it, or you need something new to fall into. Like, and it all just happened for you at the right time, really, like, didn't it? Because ETCH came out of it all. Like, that's what happened, and that's what's after catapulting you lads into this scene. It's mad.
Yeah, and that was great with ETCH. As soon as the album got released by Dunk, we got to know which impact that had on us in terms of playing shows, in terms of getting noticed, in terms of people buying the album through our Bandcamp or through the label. That was a huge step upwards for us.
Yeah. And tell me, looking back at ETCH now, when you listen to it, are you still happy with what you put down? Because you said it goes back years, doesn't it? It goes back to a demo, like.
Yeah, no, very happy with that release.
Okay.
It may be stupid to say, the song Trauma on it is still our favorite song. Even when we released a new album, that's still our favorite song.
Yeah.
It was the first time in our career that a unique sound, our own sound.
I get you. Yeah.
And we just played this show this weekend, and that was, for me, that's still the best compliment to get, is that people say you have a unique sound, or you have your own sound. Mm-hmm. For me, I don't matter which label how they label it,
exactly,
or rock or whatever. They say you have a sound that we have never heard before. That's for me very important.
Mm-hmm. It is actually.
And that was with ETCH, something we heard a lot from people. Whoa, this is something that stands out of the rest, where you have a lot of bands sounding a bit same, using same sounds, using same soundscapes or something. And it was something we definitely didn't want it to do, was to copy any of them. Mm-hmm. We just wanted to create our own sound. And in the first place, we had to be satisfied with the songs we made ourselves. Otherwise, we wouldn't release them. So that was very...
I mean, to create your own, as you said, create your own sound, there's a lot of layers in your music. For three guys playing on stage, or three guys even in a recording studio, it doesn't matter. The sound you create and the atmosphere, I won't call it noise, but you know what I mean, that heaviness that you've created with just three guys. Obviously, Kristoff, there's a lot that comes down to you, I suppose, with your pedal board probably, is there? I mean, there's a lot of work on your side.
He's the working guy. We're just laid back.
He tells you what to do quietly, yeah.
That's the reason why I'm so... I drink beer, a lot of beer.
So you're drinking your beer and you're just kicking with your pedals, is it? That's all.
We just released him from his tap dancing duties. A couple of months ago, he bought a new pedal where we put everything in order. And just has
it's that simple that to be in a band, yeah.
Actually, it's Kristoff that comes up with those layers as well. That's the one who's responsible for this, building up a song.
And that's where I was going to go next. Actually, with the next question, is who does what? I mean, because you're the drummer, you're the bass player, or the guitarist. Is that your area, or can you say to somebody else, "Lads, I have a great tune here for the guitarist"? How do you go about writing?
Mostly you come up with an idea, I guess. Yeah. Most ideas come from, that may not be a whole riff, but even one little melody or one little part.
That's all it takes, yeah.
And then you had these famous jam sessions we talked about. Then we...
the basic song, just as the simple riff that Kristoff came with, then some bass on it, some drums, and then Kristoff searches for more and more and more. And even more, and then we start to think that's too much.
We start to think again, and we put less, more simplicity, more basics, more.
and that's the beauty of this music, isn't it? Because you can have those moments, you can have those quiet moments where you can just bring it right down, and then you can fucking let loose with the big crescendos and the big finales, isn't that right?
And that's the great part of it, is when you're writing it, a new song, and you already have goosebumps first time you play the song together at such a slow part or such a calm part, then you know, that's right.
And what about the audience in the quieter parts? I'm curious. Obviously, I'm going to find out firsthand on Friday, isn't it? Friday, yeah. But what's the crowd's reaction when you play?
Normally, it depends, of course, from show to show.
Yeah.
But when we play shows where most of the audience know that genre and are into that genre, it mostly, at the quiet parts, they stay quiet.
Yeah.
They're in. Last Saturday, we played at a festival where a lot of other mainstream festival, and then people aren't quiet. They're talking, they're drinking, and they're just listening to the music, but don't care if it's slow or if it's quiet. But when you play, especially when you play intimate shows, we a couple before Corona, we played a show in Leuven, a small bar, 30 people, I think, where they sat on the floor 1 centimeter before our feet, and then quiet on the quiet moments, and you see the heads nodding.
Yeah,
really cool.
I think the code word is, like you already told a few times, is atmosphere. And when you play a little dark venue where you have we have our own basic light show, like that's just a few bulbs on stage,
light
bulbs and nothing really more. and you set an atmosphere. That's the most important thing for us, because we don't have a story to tell in lyrics or something. So we do have to tell our story in creating a moment where everyone, creating an atmosphere where we're in, and when we're in, then you see the people are coming in as well, and then it becomes great, because you feel like everyone feels the same, everyone thinks the same.
Yeah, I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? When you go to festivals, not everybody's there, obviously, for you, like, and to hear your music. But when you come to the more intimate venues, people know your music.
Yeah,
and they're waiting for those moments where they can just fucking shoegaze for a few minutes, like, and it's a totally different vibe, obviously, from a festival.
Absolutely, and that's the great part of it. When you see, that's also the nice thing when you hear feedback from the audience. When people comes to us, and one person comes to us and he says, "Oh, this song reminds me to something really sad in my life," and that's the same show. Another one tells us about the same song, that it was really something joyful for him or her. So everyone can feel it for themselves, and that's what I like the most. That we don't send you into one direction; we leave it open for interpretation. And people can feel it themselves, and that's what makes it very special for me.
Yeah. What about you, Kristoff, there sitting quietly in the back?
Always.
I'm
not a big talker.
He's thinking of new guitar lines to layer.
So just tell me, with regards, Kristoff, festivals or intimate venues, have you a preference? What do you prefer to play in? Obviously, because you're front and center, like you're on guitar, your pedal board there, but you're like going at 90 miles an hour.
Ask me the same question after the show Friday.
That's what I'll do. I'll record it and add it to this. Before we talk about ALDER, the latest album, I'm just going to play a clip of the album for people here. I'm going to play the track Tremor, and I'll get back to you all in a couple of minutes.
Yes,
thanks. So there you go, guys. That is
the track Tremor from the lads' latest album, which is Alder, which, as you can see, is behind me, and also I have a copy here because I bought a couple. That's the album cover, lads, which is probably going to bring me on to my first question for you, the artwork, which is incredible. I love it. Where was the inspiration for this, and where did it come from?
If you notice well, you'll see a link with ETCH.
Yes.
Birds we used in the cover of ETCH, in the circle of the cover. These birds are coming back into the tree.
Oh, very good.
So that
That
was really something we'd love to continue with this type of
theme.
That theme. In fact, this drawing is from a niece of mine who did it for ETCH. She's a student architectural design or something like that, and she's drawing a lot. And I really liked her first drawings, which were only like demos or like.
I think she first did our logo.
Yeah. She did the logo for ETCH, and then she had this drawing with these birds I saw on her desk. So I asked if we could use it, and that was no problem, of course. And then she had this other drawing as well from the tree with the bird underneath.
Yeah.
That was something she was making in like a series or something.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was really quick. It was quickly clear that we could use it for the second album.
Brilliant. I love it. Yeah. And what's her name? Do you want a name drop as well?
Her name is Marte. Marte van Venen.
Outstanding work out there. And it actually just for me, I have a Celtic tree on my back as a tattoo, and I also have a bird, which is literally so close to this drawing on my chest here. So this album just appealed to me the minute I saw it. I went, okay, look at this.
You were meant to like our album.
Exactly. I had to like it. But it is amazing, the artwork. I mean, obviously it came from your niece, but the fact that you're going to bring the story along with regards, it follows from ETCH and into Alder. Have you already an idea in your head what the next album concept and artwork is going to be?
Thomas has, but I don't know if it fits the row.
No, okay. My idea completely doesn't fit the row. For a third album, we're going to have to do something completely different.
Okay.
But that's always the challenge, I guess, for us. We always want to put in something that people don't expect. Like on ETCH, I don't know if you would recognize the song Ballast, which is actually nothing more than a few samples put together with a beat underneath it. So it's something that you wouldn't expect on this sort of album. On Alder, we thought of doing something no one expects, and we put on a vocal track from a text we wrote. Text is in the artwork as well. So I love it when you can search for something that makes it a bit more special.
Exactly, these little things that are hidden within these messages hidden within the album. It's great to unravel them as a listener. It's great to find out and hear about these things, So I suppose we'll take a bit of time to chat about chat about Alder, if you don't mind. The songwriting process, as you said, was different from ETCH because you were away from each other. Are you happy with what came out of it? Obviously you are, but I mean, the fact it was so different from what you did before.
Yeah, the thing is with ETCH, we weren't familiar with the genre, with post metal or post rock, so we did our own thing. And I think with the second album, it's less easy to do so because you're already influenced by other bands and other things you heard because you get to know the genre. And for us, it was more difficult to know what people would expect.
Yeah.
Will it be better? Will it be worse? But everything learned that the songs are more in one line, and one with ETCH it was more parts from a song stuck together. Now it's more fluently. So that's the mostly different from the previous recording, I think.
The most exciting thing, I guess, for all of us was like ETCH. We got a whole bunch of very positive feedback. It was like oh yeah, we didn't have any bad reactions on this one, so it can only be worse now.
It can only go one way, yeah.
No, it go down. So that was really something special, especially also because of the writing process that was totally different.
Yeah.
And we didn't have a clue what to expect, but we felt like these songs were totally fine with us, for us. So we had a good feeling about that, but it was still very.
Yeah. We recorded with the same guy that did ETCH also, but this time we also used a producer who I played in another band with, or still play in another band with, who does a lot of music, and it was also an experience for us. The pre-production process.
Yeah.
Play the song. Okay, we're gonna change that, and we're gonna change that. That can be simplified. That we won't use.
Did you get insulted? What do you mean you won't be using that?
It got more pure, the song, because sometimes, especially me, I like to come up with different fills and stuff that are maybe too difficult to play or just too frivolous to play. And then the producer was like, "No, just do. It's okay. Go to ding 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 ding."
It was nice. It was nice that this producer was a guy Thomas is familiar with, because he could say every time to Thomas, "No, we won't do that."
Okay. Otherwise, Thomas, you would have been highly insulted. Like if someone told you, "We're not using that."
Yeah, my ego will be bruised.
But we actually put a lot more work into pre-production, into analyzing the songs, into thinking of what would fit, what is too much, how do we get a song together in one piece, and instead of making parts after each other. So it really took a lot of more effort to finish where we started.
Yeah.
So the final recording process was really laid back. It was really easy. Every afternoon we did a barbecue. There was rum cokes that they drank, not me. It was really laid back.
Thumbs up from Kristoff there, rum and coke. Yeah, all the way.
We really did what we liked to do, and then it's really an easy process.
But there you go. It shows, doesn't it, on the album? The album flows and it sounds great, and it just shows that it just obviously felt right for you too when you were recording this. Like things just happened. It wasn't forced at any stage.
We always say we have to. In the first place, we have to amuse ourselves, because you're at work, you have family, you also already have not that much spare time. So the spare time we have, we want to use it for something we love to, and we like to, and we want to have fun if we are on stage, even if we are playing dark and depressing music. We still love it. We're still having fun. Otherwise, it won't be able to keep it doing.
Yeah. I get you. Yeah. Again, do you enjoy playing on stage? So I mean, it is a big thing for bands. Now you have to play live really to get exposure. Like, I mean, just selling the albums isn't enough, really, is it? It's all about getting on the road, doing the hard graft.
Yeah. And that was the thing with ETCH. We played, I think, 5 shows, and then COVID struck. And now with ALDER, we did our first release show, and then a whole month of playing. Actually, almost 3 months until the end of May now that we play every weekend.
Yeah,
and
that's great.
And then you get to places. You see other people. The album sells on shows. The album sells through Dunk Records. The album sells in America through 1,000 Arms. UK via Ripcord Records. That's really great to see that people like your music.
Yeah, exactly. Even on cassette now, like, I mean, Charlene from Ripcord Records, like, she's bringing back the cassettes, man. That's the way it's going.
Right. Yeah. We actually wanted to close the circle. Like, we started with this demo tape from ETCH.
Yeah.
We really had the intention to bring out the album on LP with Dunk I searched and kept on searching for a label to release it on tape as well, because I just wanted to have it again like we started it. So it was great that Charlene jumped onto it and was very enthusiastic.
We're really humbled that Wout and Dunk Records and Charlene and Ripcord Records and CJ 1000 Arms want to release our music.
Yeah.
It's really a big opportunity for us.
But I think you should take it for what it is, lads. There's a reason for that. Like, I mean, the album is huge. Like, it's so impressive. Like, I mean, don't be afraid to take the plaudits here when it comes to this album, ALDER. Like, it's outstanding. Like, it really is. I was expecting big things after ETCH anyway, personally. Like, but when I heard it, I was all over it. I mean, as you know, I wrote a review for it as well. Like, I couldn't stop listening to the album. So, kudos, like, for what you've achieved with it. And
then you will be blown away. You're looking at it on Friday.
Hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so. Yeah, I'll be the fella in tears in the front row. Yeah, with the head down, just swaying left to right. Is there a concept to the album? Is there a story behind it? Because it opens with Villiers. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah,
and it closes with Villiers too. And obviously that spoken passage, which I'd like to know about as well. But before I get to that, I suppose the album as a whole, is it a journey, like, from start to finish?
I think it's a logic way of putting the songs together. I see that when we put together the live set, live playlists, we keep on puzzling with the songs, and we finish at the point that we are playing the record in its entirety.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
That means that there's a logic in it. Yeah. But we don't. There's no story in between the songs. Mm-hmm. We, like I said before, we love the fact that we can tell a story without telling a story, just with our music. People can feel it for themselves. But it was always we always wanted to make an album that starts and closed with something that I often have the feeling when I hear an album of a band. Mm-hmm. I'm listening through it in its entirety, and I at a certain moment I hear something back that I heard before.
Yeah,
and that's something that struck me, and that we wanted somehow to do it ourselves as well. Okay. That you have the feeling, oh, I've heard that before, but I don't know where it came from.
The beginning and an end, and then some closure, and also the fact the song that we choose to finish side A and start side B. Side A ends really dark, I think, and then side B starts with Tremor, and it has an up feel. You get a little bit happier again, like. Yeah, it's a wave.
It's like a logic flow into the songs, but there's no story behind. There's no concept behind the record.
And what about that passage of that spoken word at the end, lads? On Villiers too.
Something you came up with.
Yeah, Kristoff sent
Peter Van de Pep, is it? Van de Pep, am I right?
Peter Van de Pape, who is an actor in some Flemish
soap series. But the text is from Roel. He worked on it for 14 years on that text.
Okay.
But Kristoff came up with the song, with the basics of the song. I was like, maybe we can put a text on it. And I think I used an Edgar Allan Poe poem.
That was weird
to put on top of it, just for because I like that.
Yeah.
And then we used the same cadence, I think, almost. But it's a text that Roel has written.
It was very funny the first time you told the idea with the poem on it. It was like, I don't get it. but actually, we started searching for a text that would fit. Uh-huh. I started to contact some poets I knew from the past, and some people I knew who were very keen on writing something particularly for us, who knew our music, but it didn't work out. So I had some pieces of texts I wrote together in like the last 10 years, and it all came together. It all came together in this one text. It fitted. I showed the text to Thomas and Kristoff, and they were okay with that. So but still, it's a text that we want to leave open for interpretation. Even if we tell something in it, we even there we want to make it open for interpretation, so everyone can make something of it. I wrote it quite abstract as well, so like it can be
be interpreted differently to everybody. Yeah, I get you. I'll ask you more about that. So when I meet you on Friday, just to get some detail on it. So lads, tell me what's next up for Turpentine Valley.
Then you have the secret. Then you have the secret about the song, and no one else can know it.
There you go. That's it.
Keep it for yourself.
Yeah. Well, a few beers, you never know. I could start singing. Like,
yeah, for sure.
But look, lads, what's next up for Turpentine Valley? Are you recording at the moment? Are you writing anything? I know it's a big time for festivals and shows and the whole lot. So
we're finishing up the album release cycle.
Yeah.
So we now have two
more shows to play. Yeah,
two more shows to play.
At Dunk Festival, and we play a show in Antwerp with it was a good treatment of the Vine. We're on tour in Europe.
That's right.
So that will be a great show as well. And then the holidays are coming up in July and August, and then everyone is away on different times.
Yeah. Everybody has family life, like, don't they?
Yeah. Mostly during the summer, we also don't rehearse because he's away 2 weeks, for example. Then Kristoff goes away, then I'm away, and then summer's almost gone.
Yeah, I get you.
And then normally in September and August we start rehearsing again.
Yeah.
We're looking into doing some shows abroad. Those details aren't finished yet. But we're looking into that.
Okay.
And I think from September on, maybe start writing new songs.
Yeah.
I think Kristoff already has some ideas.
Is he going to share?
Just need a few more years. That's okay.
Again, I'm going to be a busy. I'm going to be a busy man Friday night asking questions. That's when I see a lot of drunken talk that I won't remember the next day anyway. So,
but we already classify every little riff idea or every little melody that comes up with someone of us. And when I have a new part, I record in my car, singing it into my phone. Then I record it, and we have like a database with song titles to be used in the future. And then I guess at some point we will have the guts again to look at it.
Exactly.
These files,
but we're still not at the stage where Kristoff wakes up in the middle of the night, takes his guitar and records a part. We're not there yet, but that happens.
It can happen. So actually, just something that came to me today, lads, and I know a lot of bands and a lot of musicians there lately, you all have side projects, or you're working on other solo projects, or just, you never sit still. Like, so can I just ask you briefly, lads, is there anybody here doing a solo project or working with another band that they want to drop a name?
I'm playing in two other bands. One is a band that already started in '94. Mm-hmm. I joined with in 2012 because my daughter was born. And now since 5 years, I play again with them, with two other bass players. We switch on stage. It's a punk rock band.
Oh, yeah. What's the name of that band? Because the picture froze there right in between.
It's Jane's Death.
Jane's Death.
It's an abbreviation from Jane is Determined.
Okay. Oh, Jane's Death. Okay.
ETD.
Yes.
And then another band where we unfortunately don't play shows with, just rehearse.
Okay.
Every Monday, not today, of course. We rehearse and we jam some, and those are one of the closest friends circle that I have.
Okay.
My music buddies.
Music buddies.
We started. Was it in COVID as well? We started to record some hardcore songs again, some old school hardcore songs.
Okay.
Some youth crew style thing that we were
just because we were able to, I don't know why, but
I have a song. Hey, we're fast.
Press record.
but no solo projects so far. I don't think we're that kind of musicians, so to say, except for Thomas, who is the only musician amongst us, I guess.
What about you, Kristoff?
We all have families, and we put an awful lot of time in the band.
Yeah,
we do. We play and make music, but we also do our bookings ourselves. We do our layout and artwork was an awful lot of work to get the things right the way we wanted it, because we had a crazy idea with the artwork.
Yeah.
So it's always. It's never enough. It's always has to be something we are proud of. We could be proud of.
Exactly, but I mean, there's enough to keep you busy with Turpentine Valley. Like, it's not a case that you're bored and you go off and play with another band. I mean,
we want to concentrate on this one. And if we do something, we want to do it like good and like the best way we can. And then, for me personally, it's hard to part that in different bands. That's not
and mostly the people who have side projects mostly do music as their main job.
Yeah.
And for us, it's a hobby.
We have a real job.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
One day it'll all change.
One day, we're 70.
Old age pensioners on the stage, don't go bad.
No, but when we're 70, we'll all be on pension, so we won't have to work. We have time.
Time on your hands, exactly. Yeah. Zimmer frames on Dunk stage. How bad it would be.
Then we'll come back to it and we'll say, we want to play again at Dunk Festival. On a stage on the ground level.
On the wheelchair stage.
Or they'll have to install a chairlift or something for you. Ramp. So lads, I suppose before we wrap up, I sent you on a couple of questions there. I sent you on 3 questions. So I'm going to ask you all individually. So even Kristoff there sitting quietly in the back is going to have to answer these bad boys. So lads, first question is, if you could walk into the recording studio and do a cover version of any song from any artist, what would it be? So I'm going to start with, we start with, hello?
With me?
Yeah.
For me, it's a very easy one. I would do anything from Siamese Dream from the Smashing Pumpkins.
Good call.
That's still a record that comes... that's from my youth, but still relevant these days. These are great songs.
Yeah. Would you like to do it with the lads, play it with the lads, or would you have your own ideas? Would you like to record that track with the 2 boys?
I don't know. Maybe not. Didn't think of it.
We won't start an argument.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, you have to say yes to the here.
There we go.
Thomas?
I thought about it on the drive here, and I was thinking about Mozart.
Jesus.
Yeah. I know. I don't listen to classical music.
Check that tea.
But those days when you just they couldn't record anything, of course, but the genius of the music that people like that could do. With just their brain and just writing down stuff and then playing it on instruments that were in their beginning stages. I think that's incredible.
It is literally carved from a tree, like, these pieces that the instruments are using. Yeah. You don't have like a challenge, do you, Thomas? In fairness.
No.
Kristoff, what about yourself?
It's a bit the same like by Roel, but it's Fate No More.
Oh yeah, brilliant. Any specific track? Or even specific album? Would you go with Angel Dust, or would you go further? Angel Dust. Yeah. I'm with you all the way there.
That's the soundtrack of our youth, I guess. Yeah, it's just that one, Soundgarden, Fate No More.
Therapy.
Yeah.
Ah, nice drop. Nice name drop. I like it. Therapy.
It's an argument.
Second question, lads.
A couple of weeks ago, I bought the LP from Therapy. Trouble Gun.
Oh yes, great stuff. Reliving the younger days, huh?
Yeah.
The second question, lads, if you could experience playing live on stage with any band or musician, past or present, who would it be? Walk on stage with somebody.
I would start this time. I'm not sure.
I would like to play on stage with the song from Machine Head, Davidian.
Oh, yeah.
With all the crowd going, woo!
It's a big part of it. This question that's a big part of it. That moment when you've got fucking 30, 40,000 people screaming at you, the stadium rock almost. Yeah.
That song, that's yeah. I think
the moment.
One of my first metal albums that I bought, and I got immediately hooked to that song.
Yeah.
The whole album is great, but that song stands out. I don't know. Yeah.
Brilliant. Good call, Thomas. Who wants to go next?
I can't go better than Machine Head. I'm a huge fan of Machine Head. Burn My Eyes, it's fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic track. That's your answer.
I'm also a huge fan of The Clash.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be a wild show, wouldn't it?
A little bit mainstream, but it's London calling. It's
it might be mainstream, like, but it'd be fucking wild live, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good call. I like it. Last but not least, Roel, no pressure on you.
I would go for a classic. I would love to be on stage with Rage Against the Machine. That must be so crazy. We actually know some guys who play in Bulls on Parade, which is a cover band.
Okay.
Rage Against the Machine cover band, and when you see these guys playing, it's so tight. It's so awesome. The vibe this music has, the drive, the
energy is just unreal. Yeah.
When I could drum with that band, I have to eat some more sandwiches to do so. But that would be great. That would be awesome.
Brilliant. They're interesting questions, or interesting answers, should I say? That's great. No, I enjoy that. And the last question: give me a name of an album or a band to look forward to and to keep an eye out on for the rest, or for 2022. Anyone you want to name drop?
For me, it just came out, and that was Astodon, which I was very curious to because of the vocals.
The vocal arrangement, yeah.
We'll see them live like this weekend, but I'm very curious to hear that live, what that sounds like.
Yeah. What did you make of it on the recording?
I like the recording.
I like the sound.
Yeah. It's different, isn't it, to have that vocal set into the mix?
And especially for it's good for the slow parts, for the quieter parts, where you have an extra layer.
Yeah.
That gives it another atmosphere.
Yeah, it does.
Really like
it does.
Yeah.
And there's still an album also on Dunk Records coming up, and that's the new Roek album. I didn't check it out yet, but I'm very curious as well. We have to support some Belgian bands.
I think there's actually a pressing of that available on the day, I think, on the weekend, Roek's album. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, festival edition. That's right.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. What about yourself? Who's left to answer that question? Kristoff? An album to look out for?
2020.
Or even what are you listening to yourself at the moment?
I'm gonna go way off track here. In September, the new Electric Callboy album is dropped. I'm looking forward to that, to see if there are other kind of songs on there than the ones they already released. I really like that band. I don't know why. My son.
I don't know why either.
Yeah, I like that.
Kristoff, you haven't answered my question here now for the last one before we wrap up.
I don't know.
You will have to give me something in here.
I don't know what's coming up.
Or have you listened to anything yourself this year that you keep going back to?
The moment I'm not listening to new material.
Okay, you're taking a trip back in time.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Clash.
I'm getting old.
I leave you off the hook, so we leave it at that. That's it, lads. That's all the questions I have for you. Look, obviously, I'll probably think of 101 more questions when we close the show. But I just want to thank you for taking the time out to speak to me, and I wish you all the very best with your remaining shows of your tour, which will probably be over by the time this goes live, but look, it'll all have been good, I'd say.
Thanks for having us.
You're very welcome, lads. As I said, personally, I'm going to probably meet you myself on Friday, so I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait to share a beer with you lads and share a nice tea. So guys, there you have it. That is the amazing Belgian trio that is Turpentine Valley. Thanks everybody who tuned in to listen to us this evening. Thanks to Richie from the Metal Style Podcast for editing and producing the show as always. And I'll catch you all in 2 weeks' time, where I'll be a little worse for wear, I'd say, after my dunk expedition. Take care, see you all soon. Good night.